Hello everybody, workshop video this week. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be mending my bent brake lever which I broke when I went over on the ice, and also I've got to get the scratches out of the end of it. Okay, so let me fill you in on what happened. So I fell over and the brake lever hit the ground. It was on its lowest setting anyway, and now when I put the brakes on it's nearly touching the end. So I can adjust it out, but I just want it to be bent back to give it a bit of a curve again coming out on the side. So what I've got to do is I've got to take this screw out here, and there's a little nut underneath there, and pull it off. So literally it's just a big slotted screw on top and a small nut down below. Right, so hopefully you can see this. I know it's probably not going to come up on camera, but this is really badly scratched here, all the way around on that end. So what I'm going to do is, that's the first job, is to get the scratches out of it. I've got a vise, luckily. I'm lucky enough to own one of these. But you can use normal grippers as well, big pliers. So what I'm going to do is, I've got some abrasive tape here, and I'm just going to start sanding away at it. I'm not putting any pressure on it, I'm just taking my time, letting the abrasive material do the work. This stuff here is available at plumbers merchants. I don't really know what they call it, but it's well, it's just literally abrasive tape. Because this is a soft alloy, it does actually sand out quite, or file out, shall I say. Not sure what the word is. I'm not an expert at this. This is just the way I'm doing it. I'm sure there's lots of different ways of doing this. It is quite easy to file away at it. The bonus to this abrasive tape is that you can flex it around, and it does mould around the rounded head of the actual brake lever itself. You can actually use wet and dry to do this as well, but to be honest, I think this is probably doing a better job than wet and dry. God, it's a really good job actually. The reason I'm doing this is because I phoned up a few of the dealers, and there's no names mentioned because they were all the same price, and for a new adjustable front brake lever for the NC750 they were asking nearly £50 for it. Which isn't the end of the world if I had to buy one, but you know, if I don't need to, then why bother? So that's all of that sanded out now. I've got a few little dinkers there which I might do a little bit more on, but for the purpose of the video you see what I'm getting at. Those scratches are gone. Just to let it blend in a little bit more, I'm just going to do a little bit more on the surrounding surfaces, make it less noticeable. I'll just take that top layer off, let it where it's been tarnished a little bit. We'll just give it a new lease of life. Right, on to the next step. Right, now I'm lucky enough to have a vise, but you can also use a set of two sets of pliers, or mo grips as they're called in the UK, where they lock on to the actual workpiece itself, and you can bend it over. What a mistake that a lot of people make is that they put it in a vise and they start hitting it back. That normally ends in disaster, because you end up hitting it too much and it will bend in one area, and it's a can of worms. So what you want to try and do really is do it in a controlled manner. Alright, you want to try and bend this. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a piece of wood here. Obviously you want to make sure that your See how that locks into there? That's just sheer luck. This is actually part of a stair part here. I'm going to lock it in like so, and then we're just going to turn it, close it up like that. You see that bending already? It's a good start. See if we can kink it back a bit more this way. Got to be a bit careful because it's very easy to get this wrong or go too far, and actually do the opposite to what you want it to do. So just take it steady, bit by bit. As I say, if you only got pliers or grips, you can still do this, but to be honest, I must admit I'm dreading taking this too far and it breaking. So that'll be this week's video done and dusted, won't it? And I'll be 50 quid short. Oh, it's got a nice curve on it now, going back. See if I can kick it in just a little bit more. I've got a weak spot in there as well, so I'm going to have to be a bit careful with that. One thing I do want to mention as well is that if you're concerned about marking the brake lever, then you can always put some cloth in between the jaws of the vise or whatever you're using, and that will prevent that. Just one more here and I think that'll do it. I don't want to overdo it, that's for sure. Need to fix this vise down really. It's one of those jobs I've been meaning to do. See, look, I've got that curve on there now. So without having another lever to gauge it off of, I don't know how big the curve was before, but I think that's going to be what I want, and that's going to do the job. Okay, so before I put it back on, I want to put some grease in the hole there where the pin goes down through on both sides, like so, and also some grease on the actual piston part as well, or whatever that is. I don't know what you call it, but that needs to be greased as well, and on the end of here, just like that. Lovely. Alright, so we'll put that in position. I can see that's better already actually. Oh, those scratches are gone now as well. That looks great. Again, we're going to put a little bit of grease on the end of the pin here, which is what the brake lever pivots on. I'm really enjoying doing this video actually, compared to the other workshop videos I normally do. Probably because it's easier to film as well. Is that going to go in? Yes. Come on. That's it. He's located there, so pop over and get the screwdriver. Looks more like a paint mixer than a screwdriver. Right, so we'll start screwing back down in. Like that. That's tight. That's quite tight there, so that's good. Right, so there's a nut underneath here, which I'm just going to do up. Just needs a light turn. It's just like a locking nut really. Like so. Job done. Let's have a look. You get the principle. I may have to do this again and bring it out a bit further, but to be honest, I've got the curve on there now, so it's like a banana shape again, so that's what I wanted. Yeah, so I've gained, before that was pretty much touching here, so I have actually gained, I would say about 20 centimetres on the end. So I don't really need to do that, need any more on that. Wants to bring that out. That's fine. That is pretty good. That is as it was before. So I'm going to leave that on setting number 4. job done. Job's a good one. Okay, so brilliant. So that's worked really well. I'm really pleased with that. I've saved myself £50 because I was just going to buy one. Until I found out the cost. Like I say, £50 for a brake lever. I wanted to try and avoid that. I could have gone aftermarket and got an aftermarket job, but they're never the same, are they? And quite often they don't fit the same. If I can keep the Honda brand throughout the motorcycle from the parts that I changed, I would much prefer that, because they do design it for, you know, it is all bike specific. So yeah, good news. Saved myself some money, and this looks like new now. I'm really pleased with that. That was a 5-minute fix, which saved me a lot of money. So, thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe if this is the first time to the channel, and give it a like as well. That always helps me, and it makes a big difference to me, because I know that I'm reaching you. All right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.